Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I had to wait for the music. So, if you've been watching for a while, this is a game I have played already. But I did a quick demo of it. I didn't actually finish it. Probably not going to with an attitude like that. This is Blaster Master. I was actually listening to the soundtrack earlier today and decided that I wanted to play it some more. And I haven't done much recording recently. Last few days, last week or so. And I was always considering going back and doing a little bit more with it because it is pretty much one of my favorite games. Okay. So this is a NES platformer, late NES era. I feel like it's some of the cleanest gameplay, best, like, decent. It's got really good graphics, it's got really good music. You know, for an NES game, obviously. And it has a huge open world feel to it while still being a bunch of individual levels. So, you know, you can explore down here. You can explore here. There's passages up. I don't even remember what's up here because it's not the way you're supposed to go. One of the shortcomings of it is that you have to... Basically, there is only one way to go, and that a lot of this is just kind of pointless. Like, literal dead end right there. And then if you fall, you know, there's a few little areas like this. One of the other neat parts of the game is it does have this whole aspect where you can basically flip back and forth between between your guy and your tank. I do not actually know my way around this particular stage. And your guy gets gun upgrades, which give you the ability to shoot further and stuff like that while you're in the overhead stages. Your goal in each area is to find the item that unlocks the next area. Really simple, basic Metroidvania style logic. You know, you need the mostly cannon upgrades, or there's a few that there's hover, and like one of the levels they got so lazy with it that they just put a key in. I will say right now, one of the neat things that they did with the remake, which is available on like Wii and I believe 3DS, is they did make a lot. They added a lot more to the levels so that you do have to explore more. Like, basically, unlock, you have to find keys and more upgrades, stuff like that. Made it feel a little bit more natural, which is neat. It's not a perfect game by any means. I won't claim it, it's just one of my favorites. So, my goal with this video series is actually going to be to beat it. I'm gonna do kind of what I've been doing with some of the other games, which is using save states just to give myself extra lives. In this case, I'm going to plan on saving at the beginning of each world. Every time well, basically when I'm about ready to start heading towards the new world. that was probably worth it. So I believe in my last video I did show off a little bit more of the area. Like I explored a bit more and stuff like that. This one I'm probably not going to be doing. I'm going to clear 2-3 levels in one go. I'm going to take advantage of the glitches. Which I don't think you could actually do on this one. So yeah, I'm basically going to be doing a direct path most of the time here, when I can remember how, outside of that one little exploration that I did at the top. You can see the cannon shots here are longer now, which for some reason means that you can shoot past the enemy that is guarding the way. Also makes your shots more powerful. Those guys use 2 shots with the cannon with the tank. There's a lot of neat little things to think about with as you're exploring in this game. One of the neat things is, again, you can have your guy get out. He's a lot weaker than the tank, but he's a lot more mobile, especially underwater he's a lot more mobile. On land he's really not. Mostly because he can't jump very high or very far, and he takes damage when he falls. However, whenever he gets back in the tank, his health refills. Which is kind of nice. One of the other neat things is there are basically the fact that the tank that you're driving around is effectively 2 tiles wide, and that the gun, when you point it up, is on the left side of that. Now, that might not seem like a huge deal, but if you really think about it, it's something that a lot of games wouldn't probably do. And it's also something that makes it a lot more interesting in terms of trying to navigate, trying to aim, because your cannon is only... your cannon shoots up in a weird spot, basically. Those spinning ladybug enemies are pretty much gonna guaranteed hit you if you don't know exactly where they are and shoot correctly. These worm enemies are pretty much the most annoying thing in the game, because they are under the basic cannon of the tank. Which I have a bunch of these triple missiles, so I should probably equip that so I can do that. Despawn that guy real quick. Some of these enemies I'm not sure exactly what they're supposed to be. That's okay. Trying to avoid worms, and I'm not doing a very good job right now. As long as I'm avoiding lava, I think we're good. The worms don't actually do much damage, they're mostly just there to knock you around. So yeah. World 2 is pretty straightforward again. There are, again, a few areas that you can explore, but I'd say a little less than World 1. World 1 is really big. As I accidentally go in an area that is not required right now. Okay, this is the Room of Ladybugs. There are 3 sub-weapons. I've only got ammo for one of them right now. Otherwise, I would be using lightning here. Which we can do now. We really don't need much gun in the way of gun power until we get up to, I'd say, boss 5. Even then, you're generally wanting to use grenades, but you can use the gun to deflect a lot of the projectiles the boss throws out. The first few bosses were going to be very much just using grenades. Just grenades. Okay. One of the other unfortunates here, the gun power basically makes your gun almost worthless. It does these weird spinny bullets, which basically just require you to have extreme patience more than anything else. Okay, so the trick that there's a fairly well-known trick with this game as far as the bosses go. Throw a grenade. Do it at the right time, it helps. I'm totally missing it every single time I've tried it. There we go. So you pause the game while it's getting hit with a grenade, and it dies. This does not work for every boss, but it works for about half, literally half of them, actually. Now we have Rainbow Gun, which for some reason lets you break blocks. So yeah, the reason I'm going to be using save states here is because I am going to do this in a couple parts, and also because the game only gives you 3 lives per continue and 2 continue. Which, for some of the later levels in this game, is very much not enough. I'm not going to go out of my way right now because I'm fairly familiar with the first few levels. Wrong way, as I say that. But I also jumped off a couple cliffs and didn't fall in the lava. And Zone 3. So these little enemies will spit out bubbles and wait a second for them to explode or dodge out of the way. Then they'll take off running rampantly after you. The bubbles hurt a lot. Also, this is probably one of my favorite soundtracks, just as a side note. So these pods open to reveal a pink version of the deadly worm that jumps higher. Intentionally hunting that guy down there because they're not super hard to kill, and they generally can drop power, since I got my butt kicked by bubbles and worms at the beginning. And actually, that little swooper guy can do the same thing. Assuming he doesn't hit me. There we go. Feeling a little more secure. Do that jump. You're supposed to have to go down on the ground there and take a much longer way. As I fall back to exactly that spot. Weird locust things. There we go. The missiles pretty much one-shot the pink cocoons, and they give you a better angle for the ceiling. You don't want to deal with pink worms, they're really annoying. There we go. Random note, if you are playing this game, the triple missile shots do take 3 shots every time out of your ammo that you got for it. So we're burning through it pretty quick. Okay. Okay, and with that, we are getting close to the end of the level. And I'm getting trashed by locusts again. Yeah, there's a lot of... The enemies that are placed in the stages are usually not too bad. It's the ones that are either super aggressive, like the worms and the ladybugs, and the enemies like the random enemies like locusts that really end up getting in your way. Like with most NES games, if you know where the enemies are, the aggressive enemies you can generally just kind of avoid. Oh, even when I try to use the curved shot, it doesn't work well. I mean, it gets the job done, but it's not good at it. It doesn't ever seem like it does what it's supposed to. Okay. Gun drop from that guy. A lot of times he does drop gunpowder there. There we go. Now we've got the wave shot, which is much better unless you're near a wall. And the rainbow one, which is the best gun in the game. No, that's probably not gonna last. But, you know, we'll go with what we got. Okay, so this is boss 3. This is basically a test of reflexes and button mashing. I'm going to try and take out each of these blocks in one go. Crap. Okay, that wasn't terrible. That's basically, when I first started playing this game as a kid, this was, I don't remember if I mentioned that this is a game and that's one of the reasons it's one of my favorites. This is about how far I usually got. That boss usually wrecked me. And even after that, it's really tricky to figure out where you're supposed to go next. And this was the time before the internet, so my sources of knowledge on that were limited. So we got the hover ability now. And what we need to do is actually head all the way back to the beginning of the game. Literally the beginning of the game. Now, with the items we've got, we can actually go through it pretty quickly. I'm almost dead. That's really obnoxious, especially with the room I've got coming up. Okay. Well, we're gonna switch to homing missiles and basically just pray. Okay, we are on death's door here. And we don't. Okay, that's one life down. We're still in this terrible room. But now we're in this terrible room with enough health to run through it. we can take this little shortcut here. So instead of having to go back through a lot of this level, we are now back in the, basically, I think that's the third room? Sometimes in these type of rooms, I am thankful for lag. The busier rooms in this game, which are honestly mostly in this particular level, or any levels where they have the little enemies that drop bubbles like that, there does tend to be a bit of lag. Okay, so now we're gonna go up here. And rather than having to go up and around this entire section, like we did last time, we can go right through because we have a power-up. Which takes us back to level 1. Climb back up, kill those guys. We are going to want to fully refill our hover, which those guys tend to drop, hence why I just ran into that guy basically. The locusts also drop it, but I'm totally okay with avoiding the locusts, they're annoying. By the way, the grass at the bottom of this does hurt you. That's part of the reason that you have to jump carefully around this area. You can fall in and it's not like an instant kill, it just, like when I fell in the spikes back there, it does 1 damage or so. Okay. So, at the very beginning of the game, at level 1, there is a platform here. Do this several times to get up to this door. So I'm assuming at this point you can see kind of why I never got this far as a kid for the most part. This is about where I usually got stuck. Getting to this level and then playing through it. Now, for the sake of breaking up this video, I am gonna stop here. But I do hope you're enjoying this. I know this is a game I've already done, but it's a game that I did not necessarily to play all the way through. So that's gonna be my goal here. It's also not a terribly long game, and it's something I'm very familiar with, so it felt like a good little thing to throw together. So, if you're enjoying, give me a like and subscribe. Check out the other content on my channel. If you have any questions or suggestions, leave them in the comments. And as always, have a good one.